what is a high value man in your opinion?
As a man, who has value, is also called principles, right? So a man got to establish principles because wherever you go, you take yourself with you. So a lot of men, there's certain things they will do and certain things they will not do. And a man that stands on his principle, have value. Now those values could be high values. For example, I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to take somebody out to McDonald's to eat. I'm gonna go to, you know, a high end restaurant. I'm not going to shop at the middle of the mall. As you notice, all my jewelry is custom, because I got high values. I don't
Okay.
wear Timexes. I wear Rolexes. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a Benz now, as you can see, a $200,000 car, you
Uh,
know, Maybach. So, I'm a high value man. My values are high. So I expect a high value woman. Any woman can't just be with me. Any woman can't spark my attention because if her value don't align with my value, then it's not going to work because your frequency is what you frequently seek. So if
uh,
you see somebody, that carry themselves with poise and, you know, like to dress nice and like to go to expensive restaurants, those are called high value people. And you got people that are average people too. Then you got people that are below average. So you got below average, you got average, and then you got high value. So a high value man don't deal with the trivialities of life. So for example, when I see a woman, I don't think about sex. That's the last thing on my mind because a high value man would never let sex be the uh the reason for him making a decision. Actually, sex is not even on the pedestal. If you deal with a woman and she's, of caliber, the first thing you got to look at her as for her merit, her value. You got to take sex off the pedestal because the coochie got a lot of power. The power of the vagina. The vagina is
I
very powerful.
it
So once you take the vagina off the pedestal and you
be
deal
so
with
much power.
apple, orange to orange, and metric to metric, it changed the dynamic of the relationship because now you're not trying to think of how you're gonna get her pants. You try to figure out what type of woman is this woman, does she what is her values, what are her principles? And what is principles? Principles are characters. Like you go in the alphabet, it's A, B, C, D. Those are characters that's in the alphabet. One, two, three are characters in the numerical system. Those characters never change. You're gonna always spell dog D-O-G. You're gonna always spell cat C-A-T because those are the
Right.
characters in the alphabet that continuously and repetitiously, spell cat and dog. So a man got to have principles too. You got to have characters too, characteristics, what they call it. You got to have characteristics. A woman got to have characteristics, and no matter what happened, you know, Bonds is not going to, you know, hang out with busters. You know what I'm saying? Bonds is
Uh,
not going to deal with a woman that's a drummer queen. You know, if he deal with a woman, she gonna have value, and that's what a high value man is. It's a man that have standards. He have principles. She have principles. She have standards, and your frequency is what you frequently seek. Usually men who are value usually mess with women that match their rhythm.